So guys, yeah, it's been a hot minute since you and I have last seen each other because, hey, spring and summer in southern Idaho and everything grows at once. So there's a ton of work to do around the ranch here after everything thaws out. Hey, along about field day, a friend of mine here in southern Idaho said, hey, I just bought a new Yaesu FTM-400 and I haven't put it in my truck yet. Would you like to do a review and check it out? Of course, I said yes. And I took it for a couple of days and kind of put it through its paces. I wish I had longer to play with it, yes. But I think I got the gist of it. And today I want to bring it to you. And I want to kind of compare it with this little guy over here, my FTM-400. This time on K6UDA Radio. Let's do this. So guys, I want you to notice something up here. The FTM-400, been there since the beginning of Studio A. I've had two of them for several years. The first 400 I bought 4 or 5 years ago, probably close to 5 years ago. I borrowed that one from a friend and stuck it in the Jeep to do a review. Ended up buying it from him, kept it. It's been in the Jeep ever since. The next one I bought was at a ham swap, and that's actually sitting right here. This one actually does go out into the motorhome sometimes if I want to put an FTM-400 in the motorhome. What has been in there since the beginning is an ICOM 5100. Now the problem with the 5100 is the fact that the display is not nearly as nice as the FTM-400. It doesn't hold up well in bright sunlight. It doesn't have APRS. It has a function called DPRS, Digital Packet Reporting System. And basically what that is, APRS servers along your route will pick up a DPRS signal and push it out over the APRS system, but there's no way for you to get any information back as far as who else is out there and any messages that they might be sending me. Now, we have a new radio in the Yaesu lineup. This is the new flagship radio, the FTM-500. As far as what it is and how it compares with my FTM-400, we're going to get into. So the FTM-500, this is the newest radio from Yaesu, replacing the FTM-400, which has been out for several years now, is a tried and true winner. Like I said, I own 3 of those babies. Like the 400 is a 50 watt maximum, 2 meter 440 mobile radio system, made pretty specifically to mount in a vehicle and take it with you wherever you're going. Some of the things that I really enjoy about this is the big bright display, or well, let's say the bright display on the FTM-500. We'll talk about big in a minute. What else do I love about the FTM-500? The fact that on both the A side and the B side, you can do digital, FM, or monitor AM. I believe only on the B side can you do APRS. I think that was kind of a a chip thing, I don't know. You can mount the microphone to either the body of the radio or the head of the radio, which, by the way, is removable or base mounted like some of the other radios. The FTM-400 is a remote mount only. Which brings me to Yaesu's new mounting system. This is a dream. This is a quick release system. It slides into a slot on the radio. No more fighting screws to get this thing screwed into your under the seat or wherever you decide to mount it. Now, a couple of minutes ago, I mentioned and took back something about the big bright screen, and here's the reason. Now, looking at all three of these nice bright displays together, do you notice something? One of these screens doesn't look like the others. Using my trusty tape measure here, it's looking like the screen size on the FT5 and the FTM-500 are the same exact screen, whereas the screen size on the FTM-400 is substantially bigger than both the other ones. Now, trust me, with nearly 62 years experience looking at screens, I would say in a mobile environment, that extra 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch is a big deal to me. Now, I get it. Post-COVID and through supply chain failures, chip manufacturers burning down and all that good stuff over in Japan, Yaesu decided, hey, we're killing the 400 line. We're going to bring this new 500. We got some new features to put in. Fine and well. And they decided to reduce the screen size, making their entire lineup pretty much have the same screen size. I think the FT2 is gone. That was a bigger screen size, although it was monochrome and it wasn't nearly as nice as the FT3. The FT2 or the FTM-200. I haven't seen that one, but I'm willing to bet, and you could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, that the screen size on the FTM-200 is the same screen size as the FTM-300 and now the FTM-500, thereby reducing costs to Yaesu. Bravo, Yaesu. Bravo. Okay, next up on my bitch list, I guess, is the menu system for the FTM-500. Now, going back to the menu system on the FTM-400, the menu system on the FTM-500 feels very clunky. It doesn't flow nearly as nice, although it is still a step above radios like the old Yaesu 897, for instance. As a matter of fact, my first HF radio was a Yaesu radio, and I hated that nested menu system so much. I switched to ICOM, and up until very recently, I have been almost exclusively an ICOM guy. Now, within Yaesu's nested menu system on the 500, you can go in and pick out any of the same displays that you had on the 400, and for that matter, pretty much the FT5 also. Now, in the respect of having multiple radios, a handheld, a mobile, this is kind of a good way to operate. You don't have to learn different radio systems to operate between the handheld and the mobile. It's the same radio. Now, nothing is free, and in exchange for me being able to take my buddy's brand spanking new radio and play with it, he wanted me to do a little bit of testing to see what it was actually putting out. So into the bird and into a cantenna here, and away we go. Now setting it up on the low setting here, we key it up, goes into the bird, and it looked a little low, probably about 2.5 watts on a 100-watt slug. Mid power, we're getting 15-ish, maybe close to 20. And on high power, no real surprise, this is a true 50-watt system, just like the bird says. I guess the big question is the FTM-500 a good radio? Is it worth trading up if you've got an FTM-400? First of all, yeah, the FTM-500 is a good radio. It has a lot of new updated features. There's lots of very cool little things that Yaesu's done with this radio, namely in the hardware. The ability to attach the head to the body or mount it remotely. The new mounting system, which I think is a game changer for mobile radios, and the ability to attach your microphone to either the head or the body, depending upon where and how you want to mount things. Now, as far as a mobile radio again, I think the display could be bigger. I would have loved to see the display at least the same size as the FTM-400. Much easier to maneuver and get around, and it lended itself to a better menuing system, which is probably my biggest bitch with the FTM-500. The radios, they all sound good. It puts out good wattage. It's that menu system and that smallish handheld screen. This is the same screen that's on the FTM-500. If the FTM-500 was competing against the FTM-400, I would say for most of you mobile users, the FTM-400 is a hands down winner, even though you've got to deal with the two-sided radio. Side B has some very strict limitations. But that ain't so. So the question is the FTM-500 a good enough radio to buy on its own? Well, I think the FTM-500 has some really, really nice features. Don't know if it is that much better than an FTM-300. I don't have either one of them to do a head-to-head on that. For you current FTM-400 owners like myself, is the FTM-500 worth upgrading and possibly even getting rid of the FTM-400? I don't think so. Not unless those few features like the remote mounted mic is super important to you, unless being able to operate digital on both sides of the radio is an important thing to you. The big knob on the front, kind of a non-starter for me. It's fluff. So if you're an FTM-400 guy, I think you're gonna be happier with your FTM-400, to be honest. The FTM-500 is nice, but I don't think it's that nice. You guys know me. I kind of like to do that 10,000 foot overview and let you know on a real basis, on an everyday basis. Is it good? Is it gonna meet your needs? Hell, I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe you think the FTM-500 is the greatest thing since sliced bread. let me know in the comments. If you like your FTM-400 and you've seen the FTM-500, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm full of shit? I don't know. And most importantly, give the video a thumbs up if it helped you. If you think maybe this saved you $500 and $600, big thumbs up. Just leave a comment anyway. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3.